Forest City Kitty is the first one on the stream. I appreciate you very much. Hey, good evening, everybody. As we get closer to March Madness, as we get closer to spring weather, as we get closer to free agent period opening up, and so many things to come for this NFL season and life. But let me start off and introduce myself. My name is thought about Jay-Z. Wow, I don't know where that came from. But anyway, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, cover the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People, here to keep you up to date and informed during this NFL offseason for the Carolina Panthers. So, independent media, I'm going to ask for, hope you consider doing so. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff to help us grow to 20,000 subscribers. And I delivered on my promise, okay? If you haven't seen it, go back and take a look. My interview with head coach Dave Canales. Man, I like this guy as our head coach. I had a chance to sit down with him one-on-one in Indianapolis at the Combine, so please check that out. I'll maybe go back and put a link in the description. But also had a chance to check, tongue-tied, also had a chance to talk with General Manager Dan Morgan. Another great conversation with him as well. That happened last week in Indianapolis. So that makes it 2 years in a row that I bring to you guys exclusive interviews with both head coach and general manager. Hope you check it out. And again, the reason why I asked for hitting that like button, subscribe, and tell a friend to help us grow to 20,000 subscribers. One more order of business before I get into this. And that is, I say it all the time, and you guys respond to it all the time. So I got to say it one more time. If you ever see me out and about, please feel free to come up and say hello. I love to meet everybody that supports this channel. Again, nobody writes us a check. I'm solely supported by you guys, so it really means a lot every time there's an opportunity to meet you all. And it happened today in the gym, and it was cool. So to the gentleman that introduced himself to me earlier today, thank you very much. And to all that may have a chance to see me out and about, please, you guys, make this channel completely nothing without you guys. So, all right, let's go ahead and get it. That was 2 minutes intro because it's been a minute, right? Haven't been on since last week in Indianapolis, and I'm back, and we're going to go and talk about some things that is going to get you guys up to date. This will not be all encompassing. It's too hard to do a video where we're going to entail everything. Oh, by the way, I meant to say about being at the gym, I'm getting ready for Dunk on Demand. If y'all know him, tell him Charlotte Vibe is coming. You see the fitted shirt? I'm coming for him. Yeah, I'm getting in better shape here as I become an older guy with some young kids running around. I got to do things like that. Let's go ahead and start to get this. Three or four things we're going to talk about. Last week at the NFL Combine, they talked about some rule changes, so we're going to get into that. David Newton and Austin Corbett had a little back and forth, so we're going to talk about that. And then we're just going to go over NFL news as a whole with some players that may be free agents or players that want to be traded, just to keep you guys in the loop with all that information there. All right. A few more people have jumped on. Antonio McClanahan, always jumping on and asking for helping me get some support, so I appreciate you. And I'm going to need to start wearing my glasses. I don't know how to say this name. Twan, Don versus everybody. Chris, we got to work together one day. I am always up for working with anybody out there that has a podcast or doesn't have a podcast and you want me to be a part of it. Feel free to reach out. Very easy to reach. All my contact information is out there on the web very easily. Send me a message. DM me on social media. I'm here for you because I'm here for you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Thank you for everybody that has been tuning in. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the NFL rule changes that have been proposed and that also will be taking effect. So one of the things that the NFL is considering doing for this upcoming NFL season is altering the overtime rules. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I feel like it was good. They changed it a while back to give both teams an opportunity to possess the ball in the regular season unless you score a touchdown. If you score a touchdown first, the game is over. But if you kick a field goal, let's say you got, I forget that guy's name in Dallas, some guy that can kick 65-yarders. well, then you still get an opportunity to come back and kick a 65-yarder yourself, unless they score. Now, in the postseason, that changes, where actually if you score a touchdown, the other team still gets an opportunity to score a touchdown as well. And that came into effect several years ago when Kansas City and Buffalo had that famous shootout where you just knew whoever had the ball last before the clock ran out was going to win. And that is what happened, and the Kansas City Chiefs won that game. Well, I don't know if we need to change it, but they said even though they have made that change, giving both teams an opportunity to score and possess the ball in overtime, again, slight change with regular season and postseason, but since they've made that change, the team that gets the ball first still has an advantage. They're still winning more than the other team that doesn't win the toss. I don't know if you need to continue to tweak the rules about who's getting the ball. I mean, one thing that we know in sports is we like the games, but we don't want the games to last a whole day, right? So somebody has to lose at the end of the day. And I feel like maybe some of that in regards to which team is winning is just related to how strategies change so much these days. You know, you got the tush push that happens. You got people going for it on fourth down. You got all kinds of analytics. It just changes things, and maybe people are using that, and that's kind of really giving still the person who gets the ball first the biggest opportunity to win. But nevertheless, I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that, possible changes to the NFL overtime rules. All right, we got one more thing coming. Actually, we got more than one more thing. Next up, regarding possible changes in the NFL this offseason. Let me raise my chair up a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I fit the frame a little bit better. Sorry, I'm checking out the comments here. All right, so let me continue to go through some of these comments here. The next thing that is going to happen is ball spotting. This isn't a rule change which shows up at the bottom here, so let me just take this off. But I'll consider it a rule change. But the spotting of the ball. So little did we know, at least I didn't know this. Last year, they actually, behind the scenes, were getting ready to use virtual ball spotting. So that's, you know, the magical lines that we see on the screen these days. I think it's the yellow line to help show where the first down is. They were behind the scenes last season testing out using that, but not actually using it during the game. And so what they are going to do this season is now they are going to use it in the game. And what that is going to be is not so much the ball is automatically marked electronically by some microchip or something like that in the football, but it's going to be a combination of, all right, the ball still has to be placed by the referee. The ball will be placed, and then once that ball is placed, now we're no longer going to need the chain gang to come out there, but we're going to virtually use technology to determine if now where the ball has been placed as determined by the referee, do they or do they not have a first down? So that is something new. That is going to be coming again. Did not know that they were doing this behind the scenes already last year, preparing, I guess, the spotter or the tech spotter, if you will, on how to use this during the game. So that will be coming this season as well. Lots of other little things about rules and tush push and yada yada. Those things aren't as determined yet, so I'll hold off on mentioning those until there's some further information about those rule changes. But again, those two rule changes, one is possible rule change for overtime rules coming, but definitely the ball spotting being virtually assisted will be happening this upcoming season. All right, let me check out these comments really quickly. What's up, Dalton Hampton, B Stallion, and Panther Boy 803? Mark Anthony, where are my members at? I hadn't had any members tune in yet. Come on, members, where you at? Where you at? It's a surprise Thursday video, but nevertheless, we're going to keep on working through it. All right, so let's go to this next order of business right here. Yeah, so sometimes in this world of media, especially if you've been doing it long enough, and especially if you're trying to get information out there, you're going to have some player that probably does not like what you have done. And so, has it happened to me? Not really. Not really, knock on wood. I don't like the smoke. I don't want it. I guess it'll happen one day. When it happens, I'll deal with it. But nevertheless, recently, Austin Corbett took exception to some reporting done by one David Newton. And if you haven't seen it, heard it, well, here's what it was. So Austin Corbett wrote, David Newton claims he needs to be in our locker room when we're getting out of practice and showers to know us on a personal level and share our stories. Yet, 3 years after, 3 years together, he doesn't know a thing about me. And you see here a little bit more at the bottom of the screen, the title was Center Austin Corbett Wants to Play for a Team Where There Isn't Competition for the Position. All right. You got that? Austin Corbett, David Newton. David Newton says that Corbett wants to play for a team where there's not competition. And Austin made his comment like, hey, this guy doesn't know me. So I got some context for you guys that I want to share. And then a lot of times, I just like to have the information out there, and then I like to let you all decide how you really feel about it once that information is out there. So I want you to take a listen at this clip right here. Hopefully I'm going to play the right clip. Here we go. All right, nothing's happened. Hold on. Hadn't played it yet. Having a little trouble. Here we go.
Are you looking for a destination, either position, where you're coming in as the guy?
Yeah, I think at this point in my career, it would be hard to, go fight for a spot. Like, I know who I am as a player, and that's a starter in this league. And so if I'm going in to compete somewhere, it's probably not where I want to be. Like, I know my capabilities, and I know I'm going to lead a line wherever I'm at. And so that's here somewhere else. Like, I'm a starter.
You anticipate? Are you looking for a
I know I'm muted. I'm not muted anymore. So, did you hear that? Did you hear it clearly? Because I know sometimes my audio stuff doesn't work, but everything looked like it worked fine on my end. So I'm going to give you guys a second to tell me that you heard it. And actually, I'm going to play it one more time for those who might have missed it. Austin Corbett, this is Austin Corbett talking to the media on the final day of media availability as players were cleaning out their lockers just a couple of months ago. Here we go.
Are you looking for a destination, either position, where you're coming in as the guy?
Yeah, I think at this point in my career, it would be hard to, go fight for a spot. Like, I know who I am as a player, and that's a starter in this league. And so if I'm going in to compete somewhere, it's probably not where I want to be. Like, I know my capabilities, and I know I'm going to lead a line wherever I'm at. And so that's here somewhere else. Like, I'm a starter.
You anticipate?
Let me unmute myself. So when you hear that, what do you think? Was that a bad headline by David Newton? And I'll show it to you guys one more time. Was that a bad headline by David Newton in which he says center Austin Corbett wants to play for a team where there isn't competition for the position? Or is that bad reporting? Or did Austin just, I don't know. So I felt it important to share that with you. Doing my man of the people duties. Shouts out to, who do I shout out for that? Gosh darn it, the heck. Let me see if I can find this so I can shout out the person really quickly that helped me to discover that. Shout outs to my man, Panthers 24/7 for posting that video out there on Twitter, and I saw that and he helped me find that for you guys. But Yeah, there you go. So we got to do a little interaction here, right? So Hen Brown said, bad headline. I got to fix the way that these comments are showing here. Let's do that here. All right. Bad headline. And then he further goes on to say he wants to stay in Carolina. Why compete and start here? So why was the headline bad? Can you, Hen Brown, tell me why was the headline bad if that's what he said? I'm just curious. Hopefully you're still there actively responding, because I do like the interactive. DJ said both. So DJ and Hen Brown, if you all are still there, let me know why you think that was bad. Because I'm curious. To me, he said, I want to be at a place where I'm starting. That's what he said. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to give you guys another 10 seconds to respond. And if you don't, then when you do respond, then I'll come back to that. There's certainly several things that I want to get through in today's video. David Newton is a repeat offender for many headlines. But based on that headline, was it bad? I don't know. All right, so we'll continue to move on as you guys comment. I think Michael Baker says, I think the headline was spot on. Dalton says, I think it's a statement of confidence in himself. Okay. Appreciate everybody commenting on this. Again, as we go live for the reason of interacting with you all, so thanks for the interaction. Tim Estes, my man Tim, how you been? How you been to everybody? Tim, I know that you've been on here several times before. Thank you for tuning in. He says, sounds like a legit headline to me. So if it was a legit headline, why did Austin respond as he did? Interesting. Inquiring minds want to know. All right, we got a few more things that we're going to go over. All right, I'm going to give Hen a chance to respond. David Newton makes his own version of statements made by play. But in that particular one, I'm not talking about David Newton historically. I'm talking about in this particular case, was there a foul by David Newton? Was that headline off target based on what Austin Corbett said? Hey, Chris, how do I get my membership back? All right, so members, which we always need and want and support, I'm going to go ahead and put a link on the comments so you guys can join, because I do need you to join. So here we go. I was asked about how do you get your membership going back, because I do need it 24/7 because this coverage is 24/7. So go ahead and I dropped the link there in the comments for those who are willing and able. The link is in the description. I'm sorry, the link is in the comments as well as in the descriptions. And you're always able to do super chats if you just want to do a one-time contribution to help the channel keep on going. Really appreciate it. Why does David Newton get so much heat from players and fans? I think he does a good job. Okay. Hey, I think it's worth saying, love him or hate him, you got to give kudos to David Newton for doing his job, right? Like, in terms of consistency and still trying to just say, hey, I'm going for it. I might go to the left, I might go to the right, but I'm going for it, trying to get information. So I give him credit for that. And Corey says, in this particular case, it was on point. I gotta admit, Shan, that I'm a little old, but in a sexy red voice, bow, bow, bow. Hopefully I kind of said it somewhat right. You guys aren't rolling laughing at me too much about that one, but yeah, there you go. So got to make sure that we cover all the latest news here. All right, so far we've talked about the NFL rule changes, one possible, one coming. We've talked about Austin Corbett and David Newton, and also played the clip for you there and showed you what Austin Corbett wrote. And now we got a lot of other things in which we're going to go over, which is latest. I need some voiceovers. Latest NFL news, and we got quite a few of them. That we're going to talk about in no particular order. Let's talk about it. DK Metcalf. He wants out of Seattle. Wants to be a few things. He wants to be on a team that is a contender. All right. I don't know if we can put the Carolina Panthers exactly in that category yet. Can we put them in the category of a team on the rise? Absolutely. A team that may make the playoffs? Some things come together, possibly. But even getting past that, right? He's going to want to get about $10, $20, $30 million per year. And outside of that, the Seahawks are currently saying, hey, first round pick and a third round pick. That's a whole lot of stuff. First round pick, third round pick, $30 million. Now, does Dave Canales and maybe even Dan Morgan have some history and familiarity with the guy? Sure. But for a team in the Carolina Panthers that have a lot of needs, a lot of holes to fill, to me, this is a move that you make when you're only one guy, two guys away from being able to really compete in the way that you feel like you need to in order to host that Lombardi Trophy come, is it February now that game's played about? Late January? No. So I don't think it's a good fit for the Carolina Panthers with their current situation. But currently that's the needs. I don't know if you guys know that. Currently first round, third round, and $30 million. And he wants to be on a team that is a contender. So DK Metcalf, where will he land? Nobody knows, but he is now out there looking. Want to do a little hat tip? Or should we give him a little round of applause? Sorry if you heard a little echo there with that sound effect there, but Saquon Barkley, how about that contract? Man, kudos to Saquon after football players, 3 years ago or so, was like, I think it definitely 2 years ago, was like, hey, having a group text about we need to get paid more. We need to figure out what we can do. We're getting undervalued. And they just made him the highest paid running back. The Philadelphia Eagles have made Super Bowl champion running back Saquon Barkley the highest paid running back in history with $41.2 million extension on 2 years. So includes $36 million guaranteed and additional $15 million in escalators. And I hadn't looked into the details of that contract, but I know Philly has done some creative things for contracts. I don't know what creative thing they may have done for Saquon's contract. Another deep conversation to have, but I learned some good things at the Combine from some important people about contracts and working numbers and stuff. So I can't comment further than that because I haven't seen it, but I just wonder, how did they do Saquon's contract? But congrats to him. And maybe Chuba Hubbard is saying like, dang, man, only if I had waited. Only if I had waited. But I'm sure he still feels blessed. Nevertheless, I remember talking to Chuba over in Germany after he got that contract, and he seemed really fortunate and blessed and thankful that he was able to get that contract, didn't have to wait. And hats off to Carolina Panthers for doing that sooner than later and getting him locked up. Certainly still two different level of running back. Saquon is the running back, and Chuba is a great running back. But nevertheless, good things for running backs out there, as Saquon maybe helped change the market for the running backs just a little bit. Speaking of running backs And the guy that you saw as the didn't quite fit the full screen, but the guy that you saw as a thumbnail for this video, there you see number 3, Raheem Blackshear, our return man for several years. He's probably not going to be coming back to the Carolina Panthers. He was on this list right here of restricted free agents. And you can see, and this here with the restricted free agent list, what am I doing with these graphics? That Raheem Blackshear was on this list. And we'll talk about restricted free agents here in just a second. So, restricted free agents, basically in a nutshell, means that the Carolina Panthers get the first opportunity to lock up a player before he can become a free agent. And there's parameters in which they must make him an offer to do so. And man, it was a couple of days ago at this point now that they said to Raheem, we're not going to tender you, which basically means we're not going to take advantage of our restricted free agent right. And now you are an unrestricted free agent, which means you are free to sign with any team that you want out there in the NFL. So that happened a couple of days ago. Again, Raheem Blackshear is no longer a restricted free agent. He is an unrestricted free agent, free to sign with anybody in the NFL that he wants to. And one more bit of news, which is, talked about DK Metcalf earlier, a guy that may be more reachable, more possible, wide receiver Davante Adams. He is released by the New York Jets. And, could he be at Carolina? Could he not? I think it's a better possibility for Davante to become a Carolina Panther than it is for DK Metcalf, because not only does Metcalf want a lot of money, the Seahawks want some trades for him. So if he was a free agent, maybe that becomes more of a possibility, even though I still think it's a tall one. But nevertheless, though, that is your news for today. Getting you up to date with everything regarding this NFL and the Carolina Panthers. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I got a few more moments in which I will go and take a look at these comments, see what you guys are talking about, and answer some questions here. Give me just a second to multitask. Is anybody else getting thrown off by the fact that it's not getting darker? It's getting darker later, not a whole lot later, but it used to get dark like 5-ish. So by 5:30, you know what time. Now it's getting darker later, and it's throwing me off a little bit with my timing for things. Don't know if that's happening to anybody else out there, but let's go ahead and take a look at these comments before we get out of here. Let's see. What's going on, Amp for Life? Well, there's one of our members. Appreciate you tuning in. Carolyn Chambliss. So our members are late today, and they came in droves. I appreciate it. Our members are late. Amp for Life checking in. Carolyn Chambliss checking in. And then Ali Bodrick checking in as well. Thank you very much to my members for your support and for signing in here. Again, if you haven't checked out my interview with Dave Canales last week, one-on-one interview, my interview with General Manager Dan Morgan, please check those out as well. And Amp for Life says, everyone give some love to Man of the People by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let's do it. Yes, do what she says. Please, please, please. Help me grow. The bigger I grow, the more I can do for you guys. Seriously, that helps. Getting Dan and Dave to sit down with me. It helps when they know that they're going to have thousands of people out there watching versus only a few people out there watching. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and drop those links for those who may have not seen it. So here's my Dave Canales one-on-one interview. CANA. Boom. And then let me see. Let's also do the Dan Morgan one for you guys. We'll put this in the comments. We'll make it easy. I'm going to ask for stuff, and let me see. Dan Morgan, 1-on-1. Bam. There you go. Links are now in the comments if you have not seen it and you want to easily check that out. What's going on, Tyree Ross? Nika? Or is that Nico? Again, you guys are going to make me put on my glasses. Don't want to do that yet. Do you think we get Bosa? Let me take a quick gander. I forget which Bosa I got too many tabs opened up. Just a second. So Joey Bosa. Uh-oh. Joey Bosa was cut. Formerly played for the Los Angeles Chargers. He was getting paid $25 million. It's not bad. Not bad. I hadn't done my research yet on the entire market to see who's all out there, but certainly since he's cut, not as big of a hurdle as a player like Metcalf or, goodness gracious, I forget the other guy in Ohio. Gosh darn, I'm going to seem bad. That wants to be released. You know, if these guys aren't released, and then now you got not only their pay demands, but also the team's compensation demands, it's a lot more difficult to do. For a team like Carolina, anyway, that has so many needs. What's going on, Panthers 24/7? Hey, appreciate you jumping on. So Panthers 24/7, again, I want to give a little hat tip to for helping me get that video with Austin Corbett talking about his future and wanting to play on a team where he's the starter, not competing for that starting position. What's going on to you, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Myles Garrett. See, that's why you guys are who you are. Myles Garrett was the name that I could not think of in regards to a player that will be highly sought after, wants to get paid, but he too, just like Metcalf, he wants to be on a team that can compete, that, is more than likely to be in the playoffs. And again, for the Carolina Panthers, we're certainly a team that's on the rise, certainly a team that you may want to come to now because you heard about Dave Canales as a coach. You see Bryce Young, that we're apparently having our franchise quarterback. But I don't think we're as there yet as some of these teams that they may want to go to, that's only missing a key player that can go all in, go over, spend a lot of money and try to win now. So I don't know about that, but here we go. Got a question here. We're going to end on this because I am just a little bit hungry. Let's see if we can make this text bigger. We'll work on some of this later. All right. Still didn't do what I wanted to do here. But anyway, what you got coming our way coverage-wise now that we're post-combine, Chris? Still think your idea of having guests from independent media from your conference rivals is a great concept. So I will leave you with this. Yes, absolutely. We'll be looking to have some guests from the other teams in the NFC South. So that's going to be the Falcons, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. Come on the show prior to the draft or maybe after. It's just kind of hard. I'm still working that, but whether it's before the draft or after the draft, we will be looking to have media from the other teams come and talk with us about their teams so that we can kind of get an NFC South overview. That's going to be coming up got some people. I'm trying to think of how to say it because I hadn't put it out there completely yet. But definitely made some connections. Definitely made some connections where we're going to be having some guests, hopefully some players on the team. Yeah, players that are on the team obviously come on and be a part of the show as well prior to the draft. So that's what's going to be coming. That's what we're working on. Thank everybody so much for their support, for the likes, for the subscribes. Help us get to 20,000. We need 20,000 so I can get these players and coaches on even more. Okay, so consider doing that. I'll continue to be man of the people, therefore working by what you all want, what you all want to hear, and get that coverage out there for you. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. If you see me out there, sure, please take a moment and introduce yourself so I can now put a face with one of my viewers. I'm Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.